Shut up and sit down.
It's the final round of ChampCar iRacing Series in 2023. And by the end of tonight, someone will be our 2023 season-long champion with 1,500 ChampCar bucks to their name, enough to get them in a real wheel-to-wheel endurance race in the coming season. Plus, after the conclusion of tonight's racing, we'll be spinning the wheel to determine the participation winner from rounds 5 to 8, and they'll be getting $250 as well. And hopefully, with these Ford Mustangs at Sebring International Raceway, we'll have ourselves a very, very exciting end to the season. A look at the conditions, a look at the circuit. 60 minutes of racing ahead of us, Devin Peters.
Oh, and 60 minutes of glorious, bumpy, sunsetty action awaits us. I'm looking forward to it. I love seeing these cars go at it on any old track, and with a solid rear axle and just enough horsepower to keep things interesting. I expect we'll have a good time all around tonight.
Yes, it's our second visit to Sebring as well in this season. Previously in the Toyota GR86 in July or so, but now the Ford Mustang gets to rev out its All-American V8 around Sebring International Raceway to close out the season. Got plenty of horsepower for these long straights, but those bumpy corners, like you say, are a challenge. Just a couple of minutes left of qualifying right now, I believe. Coming into this final race, we can have a look at those championship points. And so it's Joshua Soto, who's been a multiple-time race winner this year, Davis Trask and Ian Giebler. Picture of consistency with Giebler picking up a win lately. Tim Wyer, Kyle Robertson, Mark Kruger, Orlando Herald, Nick Love, Sean Saputra and Andrew Lanning as our top 10. So yeah, Love Racing well represented inside of that, as well as our friends at Team Salins. Jihal Du, a driver we've not seen a whole lot of, though when we have seen him in ChampCar iRacing Series this year, he's been very, very strong. He's at the top of qualifying at the moment.
Yeah, when he's out, he's fast, and he's delivering on that for sure. Not too surprising when you see the 7,000 I rating next to his name. The guy's got a little bit of experience driving those sports cars around, that's for sure. And we've got a lot of familiar faces, if we're being honest, all the way up and down the field. I think virtually everyone is a returner for this time. We'll see what kind of action they get up to. Only a few cars still left out there doing laps at this point in the qualifying session. With under 2 minutes to go, I think most guys have sort of settled on their time. And I got to wonder how the track has progressed over the course of the qualifying session here. We've got 78 degrees in the air and 77 on the track. So relatively cool, though it is getting later.
Here's Tim Wyer. Looks like he's in behind Ian Giebler, maybe looking for a little bit of a slipstream. They're only going to have one more lap of qualifying after this one, and there's only a few drivers still left out on track, being Jihal Du, Ian Giebler, Tim Wyer, Kyle Robertson, Andrew Kosick, and Will Nonamaker. There's a lot of other drivers that you can see. In fact, there's a veritable car show on pit lane there. Drivers have just probably taken the chance to step away, get ready for the 60-minute race coming up.
Yeah, these ChampCar races, being a full hour long in the sprint series, still offer the chance for some interesting strategy when it comes to the stop, as well as plenty of opportunities to kind of screw it up and try and make it better. Classic part of any ChampCar race, you know.
David Warden's also out on track at the moment, and I'm not really seeing any personal best sectors come along anywhere. And as for Tim Wyer, maybe got to be careful with those track limits as well.
Yeah, easy to write one off here. as I mentioned earlier, these cars have some pretty archaic suspension on them. They like to bump around and try and throw themselves off the track when they got the fanciest suspension in the world. So these Mustangs struggle. The tires do tend to go off them pretty quickly as well. We'll expect that by the time we get around to the pit stops, it'll be necessary for them to get some tires tonight.
That's the checkered flag on qualifying right now. Last laps that will count. Will Nonamaker, no improvement. Tim Wire, no improvement on this lap. Same for Ian Giebler, also no improved sectors, but just a great opportunity to feel out the changing conditions as the sun gets lower and will begin to set during the upcoming race. A little bit of rallycross.
Yeah, I doubt that one's going to be faster with Giebler trying out the oversteer pedal on these cars.
I put to you, the likelihood of having a blimp over Sebring is diminished by the fact that it is still an active airport. I don't know how that stuff works, but you have to be very careful about where that blimp can and can't fly over the airport. This is going to be one of the last drivers to cross the checkered flag at the end of qualifying here. Jihalu's also in the final sector, I think. Giebler crosses the line, and like we thought, no improvement. Jihalu is going to make the very, very sensible decision to test that pit entry. So will Nonamaker. So that's a good thing to do at the end of qualifying if you're not improving, because you will need that pit lane during the race with the compulsory stop. Got to wait on qualifying to settle out, but we've got 21 drivers, 19 who set lap times. Alan Wells and Wade Sheeter both got out on track, but didn't manage to complete laps or set clean laps based on the track position and track limits.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't see any attempts from either, but I haven't been here for the whole session leading up to it.
So that locks in the qualifying order of Jihalu on pole position with Joshua Soto on the front row with him, Ian Giebler and Simon Foweather 0.004 of a second apart there, third and fourth. Tim Wire and Kyle Robertson the next row. Then Dave Strask and Alex Harrison, a 7th and 8th. Andy Cosick and Charles Brown on the row number 5 there, 9th and 10th. Will Nonamaker just squeaking in underneath 2 minutes 22. Ahead of Colin Lounsbury, Logan Sennhauser, Mark Kruger, Orlando Harrell, JR Cabrera, David Warden, Bill Salen, Scott Grinnell, and there we said those drivers, no qualifying time, Wade Sheeter or Alan Wells. And that could give us as many as 4 Hot Dog Love and Team Salen's drivers.
Yeah. I misspoke earlier too when I said there wasn't any new names. I don't believe that we've seen Charles Brown out this season.
We definitely have, because I made jokes about Snoopy.
Oh, you got me. In the very first round, we saw Charles Brown out. So he's making it a bookendy type thing. Came out in the first round and finished in the middle of the pack. We'll see if he can do a little better today. And you see the points standings filing by there as well. Been a busy season, plenty of competitors out, though not every single one's managed to make every single round. Familiar names for sure.
Illustrious little list going on here of drivers who had participated with us in the ChampCar iRacing series, and this is only drivers who did the 12 sort of regular season races. It doesn't include drivers who may have only done the 4 team endurance events. They wouldn't be featured in that points table if they'd only done the team endurance events, so that adds a couple more as well.
Yeah, it's great to see the series growing, and looking forward to the chance to have another go at it in the new year. We'll see how things shake out. 21
V8 Ford Mustangs on the start-finish line, ready for the formation lap behind the iRacing Costco Kirkland brand sedan that is today's pace car.
good-looking bunch of cars, must be said. I think, not to be controversial or anything, but the Marlboro car is looking pretty good there. Simon Foweather piling that in fourth place. You got a favorite, Haynes?
I like hot dogs. We've got the Jimmy Gordon tribute livery on the fourth row there.
You're a monster.
What is it?
Jeff, you monster.
Gordon.
That's what you get for being an Australian sports.
Yeah, well, I tried. I really, really did. Alongside, with a little bit of a US Air Force tribute, I think, back there somewhere as well. You've got 3 different types of Salen's liveries. You've got mainly yellow, you've got mainly blue, and you've got mainly black with Tim Wire, who's on the third row.
I think,
iRacing gave this car a graphical update about 12 months ago, and no one knows why, but they did get in there and redo all the textures, make everything spick, span, and just what they did take away was the always illuminated marker lights on the front, though. And they gave us the ability to paint the wheel rims. So you could have chrome wheel rims, matte wheel rims, black wheel rims, which give you a real police interceptor look.
So say if you want to get a good look at the metallics, Andy Cossack's looking particularly minty in his car today. Seeing the usual amount of drama on cold tires as we go around this pace lap here.
And the track temperature will likely drop as we go. It's currently at that 77, 78 in the air and on the track. Just a little bit of breeze from the southeast. So I'd be landing on runway 18 today, I suspect.
You go and get yourself a pilot's license since the last time we talked, Haynes? What the heck? You're just playing a bunch of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, one time during the Sebring 12 hour, in the back of one of the shots, there was a plane, a private jet, parked at the runway at the airport just outside of the racetrack here. I saw the registration was N500RP, and I was like, well, he owns the Speedway. That's got to be Roger Penske's jet, and it sure was.
That's awesome.
Not to be confused with Taylor Swift's jet registration, N989TS. So, Devin Peters, I've asked you to prepare a Sebring International Raceway fun fact. What is your Sebring International Raceway fun fact?
I got to tell you that the very first vehicle to ever win a race around here was a Crosley Hotshot that features not only 26.5 horsepower and a 3-speed transmission, but also an asymmetrical leaf spring and hydraulic suspension that is inexplicable when you look at it. 5 on the right and 4 on the left, and all kinds of janky. They managed to beat 30 other cars in the first ever 6-hour race out here.
Well, my Sebring fun fact is the 1959 United States Grand Prix, the only World Championship F1 Grand Prix to be held here, was the first race win for a Kiwi in Formula One, the first World Championship for an Australian, and yeah, that's my patriotic duty done.
Well done. Well, we're getting around Sunset Bend here. You better get going.
The last F1 race that a championship point was given for the fastest lap of the race until 2016. So that's something. We're ready for the race start. 60 minutes of Sebring International Raceway. Green flag in the air as the V8 Mustangs roar into life, heading down towards turn 1 across Sebring's historic, bumpy, concrete main straight. And it is a good start for that Pulsar de Jihaolu, the champion-elect in second, getting along with him. But it is bump and grind for third position, almost 4 wide, and we've got a bit of contact. Cars through the grass, making some air, banging doors, but everyone carries on so far into turns 3, 4, 5, this section here, and my favourite illuminated palm trees there will light up later on.
We'll have to ask Ian Giebler post-race if he's got any rally experience with the way he took that blue and red and white car off track as he got pushed by the likes of Simon Foweather ahead.
Braking into the turn 7 hairpin now, out front of the hairpin, out front of that hotel.
Couple pieces of contact there. Yeah, Charles C. Brown got shunted real good by Colin Lounsbury behind, managed to catch it going through the hairpin. We see another one off in the back. That's the red car. Scott Grinnell getting it kind of wrong as well, as he's getting passed by Bill Salem around the outside.
Here's a look at that. Well, that's way off the road there. Not sure you're going to find any grip whatsoever on a surface like that, and better off trying to keep it on the track. There's problems getting the power down on cold tyres at turn 8 or 9, wherever it is around there, just before you get to Tower Turn. It's a part of the track they're navigating now. Bill Salen ahead of Scott Grinnell. Running it a little deep on the exit a couple of these corners. Bill Salen now under pressure from the recovering Scott Grinnell.
Yeah, real good action here. The last two running on the lead lap right now. It's always a good part of the ChampCar iRacing series. You know, you can find battles everywhere, just like in the real thing, and these two are no exception. Oh, and we've lost
Mark
a car.
Kruger, he's made that mistake wide off the exit of Le Mans corner, gotten into the dirt and spun it into the inside wall. Here it is. No, he hasn't even gone wide. He's just lost the rear. Too eager with the throttle, gone nose first in there and given himself a big chunk of damage. He's not too far away from the pit entry, best I can tell. With a lap completed, Jihao Lu still leads. Josh Soto, multiple wins under his belt at the moment. The unassailable championship leader, but still pushing on sideways through turn number 1. He's not alone. Kyle Robertson goes wide. Now he's under pressure from Davis Trask in the Rainbow Warrior 24.
Yeah, you heard it in the background there as he came past our camera position. Kyle Robertson got it a little wrong, bumped the inside wall right at the apex. Easy to do, and that sent him flying wide, and he had to check up on the exit. Be a heartbreaker for the Robertson fans in the chat. We got a few of those watching the race tonight.
Absolutely, we do. Drivetrain Motorsports out in show. Oh, that is missing the braking zone from Simon Foweather. Goes in, massive contact with Kyle Robertson. A lot of damage there for Simon Foweather as well. My oh my, take a look at this.
On board, and you see it, and just completely misses the braking zone and gives Kyle Robertson a shunt. Now, the thing is I've heard taking the rear bumper off your car makes it faster. I'm not sure if it's a thing in iRacing. It's definitely a thing in real life, so we'll see how that turns out for Robertson.
See, Foweather ended up with a traffic cone inside his car as well, and I saw it's $15 per cone if you take them out at Sebring this year. So that's yeah. I mean, people pay for traffic cones. I thought it was like milk crates. You just take them from the side of the road after you've had a couple of drinks.
I was thinking it'd be a good souvenir at $15 a cone, you know? I ran over this one going into the hairpin.
You'd hang it in the garage somewhere. You'd find some space. This is looking down the back straight from the race leader. Jihao Lu has got 0.8 of a second over Joshua Soto, and then the absolute freight train behind Tim Wire, Davis Trask, Ian Giebler, and making position through the field and quickly. Colin Lounsbury, he's in that pack behind, having gained 4 spots. There's Trask getting past Wire on the way into Sunset Bend, which at this time of day is living up to its name.
Checking the speed traps, unhappy to report for our Robertson fans that no, losing the bumper does not make you faster. He's down about 3-4 miles an hour on the top end. We'll see how that affects him at this very throttle-dominated, wide-open throttle-dominated track.
Going through turn 1, Kyle Robertson missing that rear bumper, showing us the full dual exhaust setup. Then Alex Harrison, then Colin Lounsbury, the biggest mover of positions in the race so far. Well, actually, he's tied with Davis Trask at the moment, but he's in great position to maybe try to grab a couple more here as well. Behind Alex Harrison there in orange, who gets the tail out on his way into turn 5. Now through sweeping 6 towards that braking zone at 7 that's caused so much trouble so far.
And your eyes don't deceive you. Those are feathers on the back of Alice Harrison's car. He's got the Popeyes livery for us today.
Okay, good look at the Louisiana Kitchen Mustang. Lounsbury's gotten pretty close to him as well, bringing Charles Brown, Andrew Cosick along with as well.
Yeah, things are starting to string out a little bit. We got a battle pack from about 7th through 12th that we're following along with here, but the lead pack has split up, certainly. There's nearly 7 seconds between Josh Soto, who's running second, and Davis Trask, who's running third. Zihao Liu and Josh Soto are just pulling away quickly. The second battle pack has Trask, Wire, and Giebler fighting their way through the S's.
Got to be careful of track limits in there as well, because if you get too far over the curbs, you're cutting the course and you'll have to slow down and give up the time gained. One of the things you need to look out through that section, because it's just the curb enforcing the track limits through the concrete, not the grass and dirt that there is, or concrete walls at many other places. So third, fourth, fifth, working their way into Sunset Bend. You can point the car in different ways. You can take sort of a very shallow direct entry, or you can try to stay wider, try to cut for that later apex and get the throttle open early onto the pit straight. Joshua Soto is still finding the tyre warm up and the traction as he goes. And we're all setting a lot of personal bests throughout the field, especially Joshua Soto, just keeping the race leader well within his sights.
Yeah, but let's not make any mistakes here. He's pushing like hell out there. I mean, the two of them are flying relative to the rest of the field. A 2:19.3 last time by would put him 2.2 seconds ahead of third place in last time by. So we'll see. I wonder if the tires will be able to hold up to this kind of abuse through the race, or if that'll be a factor for these guys at the rate they're wearing them.
And if they can't, Joshua Soto helpfully pointing out where you can buy more tyres with the tyre rack window banner, but also the door sticker as well.
Yeah, he must have his sights set on some sport for his next racing endeavor.
Maybe being a little bit of a teacher's pet. We'll see. He's doing well, though. He's trying to stay with Zihao Liu. Typically you think of this as one of the cars that eats through the tyres quicker than some of the others based on, its weight, the torque that you've got, the lack of traction control. But seeing how slow the tyre warm-up has been, that sort of dissuades you from thinking about taking tyres when the pit stop comes around, I feel.
That is true. It's definitely going to have an impact on whoever decides to do it.
Davis Trask starting to get away into that third place. Tim Wire now under some pressure from Ian Giebler. These two know each other pretty well, I'm led to believe.
Oh yeah, they've done one or two races together, and they're having another one right here. Wire holds the outside, Giebler going up the inside. Clean on the way into the corner, and that's the fast way to do it. If you think the guy behind you has got a little more pace than you can let him go running off in the distance. Wow, you see Giebler getting a four-wheel drift going there. That wasn't just two.
Cue up. Well, it used to be the Eurobeat, but apparently you play funk over drift videos these days. I'm not hip or with it anymore.
Sign me up for that. Meanwhile, in the background, it's Logan Sennhauser this time out of Sunset. He went so far wide on the exit that if the grass hill was still there, he would have jumped it. As it was, he found the bump that's still out there under the pavement. I didn't even realize there was one. It's a fun little Budweiser livery from him, and he's having a good time. Daring me to accidentally call him Logan Sennheiser every time I look at his name.
Logan Budweiser?
Oh,
Budhauser?
He's
I
got
don't think
a lot.
there's such a thing as a Budhauser. the exception of, you know, having spare room. It looked a little team ordersy for me between Giebler and Tim Wyer. Tim Wyer letting him go pretty easily, seeing if maybe Giebler can be the one to hunt down Davis Trask over that third place, but none of them matching the pace that our race leaders have got. It's an exciting car to watch, even if some of the drivers maybe think it's a bit of a pain to drive, because everywhere we look, there's just a little bit of, oh, that's on the limit of grip, that's past the grip, oh, they've spun up the rear tyres a bit there, and you get more of it watching Joshua Soto as he tries to line up onto the back straight here.
I mean, this will be the least controversial opinion of all time, but I think the further we got away from cars like this racing, the worse the racing's become, you know? Barely any aero, weighs way too much, and has a whole stonk load of horsepower under the hood. I mean, sign me up for more of that.
There's that bump you're talking about on the exit, just a little bit of camber to save you from the wall. The race leaders down underneath 3/10 though. Soto's pushing on. He's sort of gone from sitting just within 1 second back to really starting to close up on a Ji-Hao Lu with 5 laps completed, starting the 6th lap of this race.
Yeah, and showing some good pace for it. Watching Davis Trask come through some lap traffic, J.R. Cabrera actually took it a mile wide for him. Cabrera had to stop earlier, pulled off the track. It looked like maybe a mechanical error and a hardware error. I'm wondering if it's still affecting him with the way he's diving off track for the blue flags. Either that or he thinks we're still in the F1 rules for the blue flags here. Either way, Trask continues on.
DuPont, but has it been altered on the hood there? I said bonnet. Expose myself.
Yes, yeah, the Rainbow Warriors with the DuPont sponsorship.
I think this says DuPont, which I mean, yeah, you're right. It's very short track racing of him.
It's good. Now I'll have to see if we can catch it with a good angle. But yes, DuPont. And of course, he's wearing that from the Beer League, which is another league that we've got some visitors from tonight. Lots of good folks crossing over between the various leagues that we have participation in and have the chance to broadcast. It's been a while since we've done a Spec 5 race. We'll see when those folks come back in January. And of course, as always, doing the ChampCar Sprint Series and the ChampCar Endurance Series. It's always a good time here on HJ.
Good chance of a bit of off-season fun coming your way as well. So do keep your eye on forum.champcar.org and also the CCIS Discord server if you want to just keep in touch with us and, of course, be the first to know about goings-on in the world of ChampCar iRacing Series. Mm-hmm. Still no pit stops that haven't been from damage. So Mark Kruger pitted after lap 1 because of damage. J.R. Cabrera came through after the 3rd lap, and I think that was from damage as well.
Yeah. And the closest battle on track is the battle between our leaders. Soto sticking to that rear bumper as Ji-Hao Lu.
He is. He's pretty close. Got to pick out your braking zone here. 4 cones, 3 cones, 2 cones. I think one of those cones has been rearranged there. Only $15.
We'll have to have a cones hit special prize maybe one of these years.
So just a manual classic 3-pedal H-pattern gearbox in this car as well. And they've pretty much the Mustang GT road car ratios as well. So First doesn't get any use, second doesn't get a whole lot, and it's very, very rare you get up into sixth. Some people don't know it's got 6 gears. That's how tall and useless the 6th gear is for racing.
Yeah, I've never needed it, even drafting off the banks of Daytona. Can vouch for that.
It's that EPA gear.
It occurs to me also that I believe this is the first time we've raced this car with the new damage model. Seeing all the bumpers flying off it, I don't know if it's been on it that long.
That would have come with the graphics refresh a year ago, right? Could be.
Either way, you can see the gap now that's formed between Soto and Zihao and Trask. Nearly an entire straightaway as Trask comes onto the back straight, and we see them pushing the limits of the Le Mans curve. Cars are working hard on the exit.
Yep, there's any time that you see dirt instead of grass, you know it's common for a car or two to go through there and just dig it up, churn it up a little bit. Got Colin Lounsbury and Charles Brown here. Lounsbury in front, Brown in pursuit.
The technical side of Sebring's really kind of shown its face tonight. Seeing the cars get really spread out in a way that we often don't see in the ChampCar series. You know, still racing obviously, but not the door-to-door that we typically see. Charles C. Brown's trying to change that. Look up the inside here on Colin Lounsbury, put this pressure on.
That psychological effect. It's a good Mustang GT kind of livery. White with blue stripes is the classic US national racing colours. It was originally white body panels, blue chassis rails, and then we stopped having exposed chassis rails on cars and they had to work out what to do and they went with stripes instead.
That makes sense. Lounsbury gets a better run off the exit of the hairpin there, and Brown's going to have to make a real dive of it if he wants this to work. Looks like he'll stay in line as they head into the right-hander before the tower turn.
He's gone in way deep and he's going to lose that spot, but it's a close pinch on the corner exit for Charles Brown as he gets past Colin Lounsbury. Both of them lose a little bit of time. Here's Alex Harrison in towards tower turn, trying to set up his run off the exit, but Lounsbury just coming to that pressure that Brown just kept showing the nose, kept forcing Lounsbury to have to break deep into these corners, and eventually it came unstuck and Harrison might be next. Turn those headlights on.
That was like Christmas lights flicking on right there.
You got any
good.
Christmas lights up? You got any Christmas lights up?
It's 2 stories up around here, and yeah, I haven't got up there yet, but soon enough.
I just got LEDs on the tree.
Oh, I got plenty of those. But yeah, sure enough, we can see it's getting later on into the evening. Sun is starting to go down nearly. It's 5:20 in the simulator, 5:20 p.m. So we'll see things get darker and darker. Real tight inside line from Alex Harrison that time through sunset.
Yeah, and here comes Andy Kosick. Sennhauser and Herald battling behind. Might have had to work their way through J.R. Cabrera as again he finds himself mired in a bunch of this traffic. So 4-way fight: Brown, Lounsbury, Harrison, Kosick.
Yeah, and Kosick seems to be intent on putting a little pressure on this as well. Lounsbury, after that he was overtaken, it looked for a moment like he was under threat from Harrison, but Harrison's really struggled these last few corners and kind of allowed Kosick to get right up on him. So close, in fact, that I thought for a moment that he thought about an inside line.
Biggest braking zone on the lap at the turn 7 hairpin, down all the gears. And then just trying to find the right line on the exit. Tough exit to that corner with that little S's kink in it. You need to try to straighten it up because this is a car that doesn't react very well to having full throttle and too much steering input. That classic suspension as well. Doesn't even out the forces so well.
Variety is the spice of life, I say.
I mean, it's like they could have golf balls that fly 10,000 feet, but they don't because they know it wouldn't be good sport. You could have perfectly grippy, perfectly compliable race cars, but it wouldn't be good sport.
Yeah, that's what the Ford engineers were thinking.
Now, I wasn't in Detroit in the late 90s and early 2000s to know exactly what was on their mind.
Got our first taker on the pit lane, Davis Trask, coming in from third place. Definitely the earliest stop we're seeing, and I am curious to see if this will turn into a tires pit stop. I think that'll be a really key decision on this race. Lap 15. Nope. Lap 10. Counting's hard.
It's a good thing you don't teach it to kids. He finds his pit stall and there's no hint of tyre changes going on there. It's just fuel for the thirsty 4.6 litre Ford modular V8 up front of this. It's pretty much, these were designed for club racing, one-make racing. They basically just took a Ford GT and put a roll cage in it. Very much how these cars work. Okay, they also put an AIM dash in as well. But yeah, it's pretty thirsty as far as these cars go.
And we did get our answer. Didn't see any tires get bolted onto that thing, so we'll see how those are feeling in 35 minutes, but I can't imagine it'll be that good.
Lounsbury's had a spin, nearly got cleaned up by Alex Harrison. Andy Cosick and others go through, and this looks like that traction zone out of the turn 7 hairpin. Here he goes, gets a little bit of the inside curb, gets one tyre loose, has a wiggle. Oh, nearly an accident 200 meters down the road from where he first started having a little bit of a brown trousers moment.
I saw another angle of that one. It was on YouTube. Guy was driving out of a parking lot after car show.
Yeah, I think I've seen that video. Seen that video a couple times. Yeah. You got the steering wheel hard right, exiting the car show. There's some people watching. You give it a little bit of gentle. You got the skid. You think I got this skid under control. And then you try to end the skid, and it snaps back the other way. And then you steer into that, and it snaps back the other way. And then you break your control arms on a curb.
I think the entire American audience is honestly just wondering what the heck a jandle is.
I mean, it's not even an Australian word. But supercar fans. Scott McLaughlin will make him know when he wins the Indianapolis 500 in 2024.
That sounds good. I'm here for it. Oof. Alex Harrison, I wonder if we can get a shot of that. He was using up those rear tires on the exit of Sunset that time. Stomped on the gas, left some blackies all the way out. They're all starting to struggle a little bit at this point, even as the track gets cooler.
They sure are, and I'm enjoying watching it. Alex Harrison maybe feeling a little bit of pressure here from Cosick. Logan Senhauser and Orlando Herald have managed to close in somewhat.
Yeah, it's starting to turn into about a 5-car battle here, and if they get real close together, you have to start thinking about overcuts and undercuts too.
Don't think these cars are getting any quicker as we go, because I'm not seeing many drivers who are particularly close to their personal best laps. They're all about a second off, struggling with the grip, maybe the darkness as well. You gotta be careful how you open up the throttle right there. You can get in trouble very quickly, as Alex Harrison and Andy Cosick nearly discovered. So it's Logan Senhauser who looks like he got the best run there.
Cosick used so much curb. I'm almost surprised he didn't end up with a slowdown, but manages to keep it clean. It's always kind of tricky setting up this tower turn too. Car that kind of floats around like this, you want to get it pointed straight and, you know, flat going into that corner, but at the same time you don't want to add too much distance onto your lap. So they struggle with that one a little bit.
Cossack right with Alex Harrison through this part of the track. It's the left-hander there where you can't cut too much of the curbing, and they're not doing it. And then of course, got to be careful putting the power down. Got to be careful with track limits on the exit. And it's Cossack this time who had a bit of a wobble, tried to get too ambitious with his traction. Here comes Sennhauser in the slipstream at speed, running it up through the gears. I think that's into fifth right there. He has a look to the inside, but he brakes earlier than Cossack, and Cossack from that wide line round the outside, getting to an apex somewhere underneath the bridge. But I think we're heading for pit entry here on board. Not the only car on pit lane either. Kyle Robertson goes to pit lane. Logan Sennhauser goes to pit lane. A couple more takers.
Kyle Robertson's going to need to grab that rubber mallet and give that bumper smack if he's going to get it looking better. But yeah, he's really, really good at that I've heard. Gets that car looking sharp again, of course, with the help of a fast repair. One of those for every one of our drivers out here tonight.
iRacing's had some additions to the pit road canopies, your pit road crew in the NASCAR. The big tool chest that they drag down onto pit lanes also changed. And this is the first time I've noticed the mechanics sitting on the piles of tyres. They must sure be comfortable. Here's Kyle Robertson back out into the race after 20 seconds of fuel. Davis Trask took 24. Logan Sennhauser's taken 21. So that's an idea of the numbers that we're seeing. And if you want to look at them, the live timings, hjbc.live. So you can go over to there and you can see all of the last lap, fastest lap, pit stop times, pit lane times, everything that your heart desires.
I'm a little surprised to see how big of a gap it is between Robertson and Trask.
I'm not. Trask was in third, wasn't he? Or fourth?
He was, but I didn't think it was 8 seconds when they went into the stop, or 7 seconds. But I guess so. We'll just see how the rest of it shakes out. Cooling the tires in these cars can be pretty advantageous, even if you don't take the stop or the tires at the stop. It can help you out for a couple laps. Starting to see a little bit of separation at the front. Jialu has pulled his way out to a little gap ahead of Josh Soto. And managed to stretch that out to over a second, which is about the biggest gap we've seen all race long. So I wonder if he's pushing at this point, getting ready for the inevitable pit stops here.
Ian Giebler's pitted from third place behind these guys as well, so it might be about time for that. Looked like Chihalu got a tiny bit of the grass on his way into turn 3, just helped him rotate the car towards the apex. Here's Tim Wire as well.
The livery looks good. I do miss the cheese liveries from Wire, but a good substitute.
So no pit lane speed limiter in this car, so you're trying to manage 45 miles an hour all on your own.
Oh, do you see it? Did you see the car lifting up on the left-hand side there from Tim Wire?
No.
He might have done it.
Do you reckon rear tires?
I'm not sure. It looked to me like only the left-hand side went up. So left-hand tires? I wonder how that car is going to be handling on the exit here. We'll find out right away as he comes out onto track. Turning left should be okay. Maybe those right-hand turns I'm a little worried about. And cars handle so bad when you do one side only. Handles that pretty nicely, though. Maybe it was a left front only?
Speculation from us. You get this big, long turn 6 to just load a little bit of heat into it, but then your traction off the hairpin here at turn 7 is where, if you took a left sides only, it's really going to expose you. Not too bad.
Yeah, handled it well.
It's Scott Grinnell and Kyle Robertson behind. Scott Grinnell hasn't pitted yet. Kyle Robertson has. Knows that he's battling Tim Wire. Not really battling Scott Grinnell, but he's got to get past somehow, and so that's what he's going to do. He's going to look down the inside here on Scott Grinnell. Get in pretty deep, and that's tidy as they go.
That was a nice overtake there. One of the cleanest ones we've seen all night. Two guys racing hard, and Grinnell just outbraked there into Cunningham. Ooh, and Alex Harrison's having to do a little defending on the back straight. He's got Orlando Harrell getting a run on him up the inside. Good show here from Orlando Harrell. Runs that deep line. Going to get over-undered here, though. He's going to have to be careful on the exit. Does a good job of getting the power back down, though, and he'll hold that position down the front straight.
It's Charles Brown on the pit lane there. These two carry on, Orlando Harrell and Alex Harrison. Very bold move from Harrell. Very smart stuff from Harrison to try to look for that switch back over under, and he nearly had it as well. They race through turn 1, where you've got a traffic cone stuck in the debris fencing to try to help you work out where your apex marker is. These days it's actually been replaced by a board in the fence. But the cone is the classic solution. Colin Lounsbury, Scott Grinnell, a lot of drivers pitting right now as well. Hey,
and a lot of
going
tires.
On for Lounsbury there.
Yeah, Charles Brown and Lounsbury both took 4 tires. So a few guys on different strategies here tonight. We'll see how the warm-up is.
You don't know if they took 4 or rears, I think.
True. But definitely got both sides of the car up in the air. For these guys, on the other hand, Grinnell staying on the ground, but David Warden ahead, taking 1 or 2.
A lot of things in common. They're both the second, so David Warden 2 and Scott Grinnell 2. They're both Club New York.
Oh. What is that? I think that was left sides only there from Lounsbury as well. Warden, sorry.
So now just got 4 drivers who haven't stopped yet, but that changes.
Here's 2 of them. Our leaders both hit pit lane, and they did not hit it that far apart. So despite Jalou's best efforts, he wasn't able to build that much of a gap. But they'll head down the pit lane, and we'll see who's feeling braver on the tire strategy. No time to react.
Expect Orlando Harrell and Alex Harrison to pit as well. Those are the other drivers yet to stop. Your leaders, on left sides go up for Ji Hao Lu. Right side goes up for Joshua Soto. Car goes back down for Ji Hao Lu. For Soto, do we see the other side for a rear? We don't. We see Ji Hao Lu go, and Joshua Soto follows him rapidly. There's going to be about 1 second difference between them as they leave the pit lane into the lead of the race. Harrell and Harrison both stopping as well, but the lead could be very, very interesting in the remaining 26 minutes of the race. These two never been separated by more than about 1.5 seconds so far in the final race of ChampCar iRacing Series for 2023.
Oh, and we'll see which one got it right. Left sides or right sides. That'll be an interesting one to unravel. I bet you those cars are going to handle pretty different at this point.
Man, you think you know what you're going to see, and then you get served up something like that. You got no idea. Andy Kosick side by side with Charles Brown in Sunset Bend at the moment, by the way, as Logan Sennhauser gets a good run at both of them. Can we get 3 Mustangs 3 wide on the pit straight? Or is Logan Sennhauser a little too smart for that? Brown's got a good run. Brown's got the inside, which is where I'd want to be for turn 1 here. Andy Kosick, though, is looking brave around the outside. You got a couple of those drivers rejoining from the pit exit as well. There's Orlando Harrell, who sees this 3-way battle right in front of him, and Alex Harrison had a slightly slower stop. He's in the background there as well. Could be a 5-way fight here in the final laps as well.
Kosick hasn't forgotten that when you got the outside line, you get to brake a little later, and he uses that to hold off Logan Sennhauser. Not quite able to do the same, though, for Charles Brown, who grabs the front of their little battle group here. Awesome
Mustang racing. Here's Colin Lounsbury, just ahead of Alex Harrison. Lounsbury's on his out lap, so I'm wondering if he's struggling with those cold tyres.
I
Sorry,
would believe
he's
that.
finished his outlap. He's on his first flying lap for Colin Lounsbury. We saw part of his pit stop.
Yeah, I would still believe that, though. Tires maybe not feeling so good. Back to this battle group, though. We got a whole bunch of them getting together there. As they come into tower here, sort of feeling the different approaches. I think Logan's line looked really nice through there that time. Kind of got a nice run for himself. Cossack's getting the draft, though, up ahead and closing up a little bit on Charles Brown.
Cossack misses the apex, runs deep. Logan Senhauser's now within striking distance of him. It's always funny when you see people think about diving down the inside of that corner there. The corner just before the big straight where you normally think your exit would be most important.
And Cossack's car just didn't want to turn in there. I don't know if that was tires or that was something else, but yeah, that car looked uncomfortable turning into that corner. Now he's getting the thing loose, sliding it underneath our bridge camera there. Seeing all of them leaving down on Blackies, though. Got this static cam going into turn one. We'll get a sense of the speed. Looking good.
Camera shake turned off, unfortunately, though. It's a little dramatic sometimes. It's a little dramatic sometimes.
And they just got that one bolted down, that's all.
My favourite palm trees there on the inside of turn 4 starting to light up. Whoever's got that campsite, fantastic decorations.
Logan's got a good run here. Might have a chance with the draft to look up the inside of Cossack here. Not enough. Cossack's too deep, though. Leaves the door open. Logan gets pinched, and when he tries to get back to the throttle, fishtails it out of the corner. We'll have to see if he can turn this into a run down into Cunningham.
Got to go full fast and furious with your ninja shifts when you're in a drag race like that, but not enough for Logan Senhauser. Still keeping the pressure on, and Charles Brown loves to see this happen because he's saying goodbye, see you later. He's leaving them a couple seconds in his dust as the pressure is sort of affecting the lap times of Andy Cossack. We've seen that happen multiple times. Just drivers under pressure, making little mistakes, losing a little bit of time. Happened to Colin Lounsbury, it's happened to others. When you battle, you do lose time in a car like this. You've got to be gentle and smooth, which is tough to do when you're looking in your mirrors when you're driving alongside.
Oh, I was seeing some lap traffic getting overtaken, got mistaken there. Yeah, and Senhauser fishtails a little bit on the exit. But they are definitely giving up some time. Speaking of giving up some time, at the front of the race, it looks like right side tires was the right call for Jia Lu. He's managed to pull out nearly a 2-second gap on Josh Soto in this phase of the race. Two of them just running really, really clean up there. Checking back in, though, with our battle.
Now it's Orlando Herald's turn to decide inside, outside of turn 1. He's got a good bit of momentum going on here. Well past 110, 120 miles an hour on the way in towards turn 1. So easy to run out wide there. Herald's cautious with it and drops back just a little bit. Speaking of that, the race lead's now out to 2 seconds, so that difference of tyre strategy, Jia Lu to Joshua Soto, seems to be playing to Jihao's advantage at the moment. It's 2 seconds clear. And we know he's got some fans cheering him on today.
Yeah, staying here, though, with Orlando. Good showing here from Orlando, it must be said. He's
Is that a Christmas Budweiser livery?
I'm looking at it. Yeah,
I swear it's got reindeer on it. Yeah. That's great.
It's
Oh,
got
it's
Clydesdales on it. Yeah, that's the...
Put some fake antlers on them and we're in
No,
business.
that-
We're festive.
You've missed too many Super Bowl commercials to get the reference. That's all it is.
I've missed all of the Super Bowls, if I'm honest with you. Is that going to make me unlikable and aloof?
I went and watched your guys' Aussie Rules football sports match. Grand Finals. Is that what you called it?
Yep.
Yeah. That was like a Super Bowl. Just a field kind of shaped like
Kiss
a lemon.
as pre-game entertainment, and they attempted to rock and roll all night and party every day. That's sideways from Sennhauser. And it hasn't helped his speed at all. Lando Harrell's being shown a car width to the outside, but he wants the inside. He makes the switch. He was super brave on the brakes down the inside here as he battled Alex Harrison. He's done it again, gotten really, really wide. Now round the outside, the Budweiser mobile gets to his inside. How about a big drift? Not the fastest way to do it, but Harrell might be able to hold on, and if he does, what an exciting pass.
That's a guy who likes to go around the outside. He loves that tight line on the way into the sunset bend there. And he does it again.
The move of a man who likes to dive headfirst into action with a late-breaking dive bomb down the inside of Sunset Bend, work out the rest of the details somewhere in the middle of the corner across those bumps, and he has a great move. Harrell moves up to 9th. Biggest mover of the race with 6 positions gained after qualifying 15th.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been watching that battle. The battle at the front is starting to get a little tighter. Ian Giebler and Davis Trask are battling for the back half of the podium. And Davis Trask, in the last lap or so, has cut nearly a second out of Ian Giebler's lead for the podium. I don't know if Giebler's tires are just going away or what, but he's really struggling in this phase.
For comparison's sake, Giebler's best lap of this race, 2 minutes 22.2. His last lap, 2 minutes 24.7. Has he really lost that much performance, or did he just have a little bit of a mistake? And if he did have a mistake, well, now the pressure's on. It'll be even easier to make more mistakes. He gets the car unsettled, riding the lip of the curb with the inside tyres like a motocross berm. And the car doesn't quite like that, because when it lands, it bounces. It doesn't settle as nicely as some cars with, say, 20th century suspension instead of 19th century suspension.
That's true, but as I've been watching this close down, and Trask takes that spooky look up the inside. Giebler's doing a really good job of holding it, but that car just doesn't look like it's handling very nice right now. I think those tires have dropped off a cliff. You can make a lot of speed in these cars for a while by really abusing the tires, and I kind of wonder if that's what's happened to Giebler here, is he's beat him up too much, and Trask is just doing a little better job taking care. He looks up the inside this time, not going to get it into turn 1, but might get it anyway because Giebler can't get it to the apex. He's going to clear him on the inside and having the inside for turn 2.
Very well done. It's tough to go too wide through this part of the lap past my beloved palm trees. What a great move, and up into 3rd place for Davis Trask.
Yeah, very nicely executed there. Trask to drive on by.
Trying to figure out when independent rear suspension was invented, and I think the answer is the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, I think you're right. The other factor is cost, of course. Wanted to become affordable to put in a mass-produced Mustang, but that was just a generation later. By my maths, anyway.
So it's absolutely intense pace that the leaders have got at the moment. Last lap from both of them in the 2-minute 20s. Everyone else is in 2-minute 22s, 2-minute 23s. They are head and shoulders above the rest of the field, and I suspect both pushing on pretty aggressively at this point. Zhihao Lu out to almost 3 seconds of lead. Joshua Soto trying to go with, but it's just not happening at the moment. Prodigious pace from the race leader right now.
Yeah, it's it just tickles the inside. Does Josh Soto as he goes through turn number 1. He's looking for every bit of it. The sparks fly though. I was going to say it's pretty rare that we see a driver just drive away from Josh Soto on pure pace. I almost can't remember.
Jordan Johnson, maybe.
Yeah.
Or as I've taken to calling him, JJ5.
Yeah, JJ5, semi-professional driver, I'd say.
See where he ends up driving. I think his team Pure Sims is going through a bit of a restructure at the moment. But they've been very well represented in iRacing World Championship competition and other such things.
Yeah, so we get some fast drivers out here racing for the big old prizes we got in the ChampCar iRacing series. Of course, 1,500 champ bucks going to our overall season-long points winner, and prizes for all those drivers that managed to show up for sections of the race.
Davis Trask feeling the need to defend his third place. He got it in fantastic fashion from Ian Giebler, but now suddenly that he's the rabbit and not the fox, able to drive far more convincingly.
Yeah, it helps a little bit with these boxy cars to have the draft down the straights. Keeps it closer. A lot of ground made up there though under braking for Ian Giebler. And he keeps on keeping the pressure on through Tower and up into Bishops and Jean de Bien.
I think that's the name of the guy who won the first ever race here at Sebring.
Yeah, it sounds approximately right. We'll see.
Okay, here's one more Sebring fun fact. The guy who started third on the grid for the 1959 US Grand Prix here actually cut the racetrack. So around turn 7, instead of following the road, he cut through part of the infield. His best legal lap was about 30 seconds slower. That's great. So the 50s in Grand Prix racing were just like
you gotta want it.
Absolutely Mickey Mouse compared to now. It's like, F2 cars are getting entered. Someone entered a dirt midget in F1 Grand Prix race. And some of the promoting was a little more slapdash.
I like it. Davis Trask looking a little rough through there himself. Got a little wide on the exit of 1. Has Giebler right up under his bumper this time. We'll see. He might have to take a defensive line here, and he does as they head down towards the hairpin. Manages to brake nice and late, though, and he can probably just park that and make it so Giebler has no move, and sure enough, he does. Giebler will have a little run, but I'm not sure it'll be enough to run him down before the right-hander up here. Zihao is slicing and dicing some traffic, but David Warden gets well out of the way for him.
Still a probability that the race leader will catch Scott Grinnell or maybe even Mark Kruger, but overall not too much traffic for anyone in this race. Got 5.5 kilometers of racetrack to play with.
Yeah, now that Ziao's broken that toe, Soto's nearly 4 seconds behind, so not losing any action there. Keeping our eyes on this battle between Trask and Giebler for third and fourth here.
No idea if there wasn't even maybe just a little mistake with that pit stop for Joshua Soto, because for the right-hand side of the car to go up momentarily, but not the left-hand side at all. That doesn't make sense. If a car only goes up on the left-hand side, you're like, okay, left-hand side tires, it's a clockwise circuit. Sure, checks out. If you went for only rear tires, I could understand that. You know, with the talky V8, the level of sort of slide and wheel spin we've seen from drivers on throttle on corner exits, a bit of off-corner traction could certainly help you. But I don't know, only right sides or only a right rear. I don't see the appeal.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to quiz him about that one in the post race. 10 minutes to go, 9 minutes to go now, and we'll see what that adds up to. Watch down the front straight here, the likes of Tim Wire as he leads Kyle Robertson into the first turn. Robertson in the green car behind him, doing his best to chase him down for the back half of the top 5.
This is the group of cars that were a battle pack before the pit stop, spread out a little bit, but you can see no room for mistake out of any of these guys. Charles Brown, Andy Cosick, Orlando Herald, Logan Senhauser we're focusing on at the moment, with Colin Lounsbury just behind him and Alex Harrison not too far behind.
Ooh, we've just had a bit of defense there from Davis Trask. He had to take the inside line going into the hairpin that time by. Held off Giebler though. Giebler definitely had some overlap that time though.
Kyle Robertson was flying on his last lap as well. Super quick.
Yeah.
So he's catching Tim Wire here, I think, or at least he was on the last lap by 1.2 seconds in that lap. What did we see the pit stop from Robertson? Did we see tyres or left sides or anything that would suggest that he'd come on strong in this point of the race in the final 10 minutes?
I don't recall seeing tires from him, so hard to say. Track, despite the darkness, the track temp hasn't moved much either, so maybe he's just managed to find a little edge here, learn something new the way you tend to do when you race a track for an hour. And he's using that to his advantage.
Just slightly extending down the straight, now coming back down again.
Giebler's got a big run going onto the straight. He's got the draft 2 on Trask. I think if he times it right, he might have a dive here. If not, certainly into 2. He does not. Oh, Trask is wide though again. Trask always pushing the limits on the exit. Giebler's running a line that looks a little bit more, I think, like the real world line. We're not quite as willing to write off a car in the pursuit of speed.
Six minutes left in this race and 6 minutes left in the ChampCar iRacing series for 2023. Some battles that are going to come down to the checkered flag on the final lap here. Ford Mustangs at Sebring. Joshua Soto's championship lead that he's built up over the previous 11 rounds has put him in great position, though, that the second he's in is all he will need. This is Tim Wire. Kyle Robertson really has caught him in a hurry. Like 1.4 seconds. Sorry, no, just 0.4 seconds. Just 0.4.
Yeah, just 0.4, but he's looking very racy now that he's on the bumper. He was swerving around all over the place going down into the hairpin. We'll keep an eye as we switch back and forth between these battles, seeing which one's going to count. Tower turn, Giebler gets a little better, I think. Gets it moving at the apex a little better than Davis Trask does. Trask uses the dirt on the exit, though, to get the thing a little wider. Robertson and Trask are Wire rather, are even closer. Robertson's bumper is just pasted to Tim Wire's.
Yeah, and they're coming to the part of the track where a good exit could see you attack into Sunset Bend, potentially. Robertson's trying to really use all of that pavement out there. Take a late apex, get good traction here. Does see Tim Wire get just a little sideways in front of him, and there's one car length in it. Wire is just getting a better run in the first part of the straight. I wonder if Robertson's shifts just not quite working.
There's a little nuance to shift this car. There's a right number to get it on, and if you don't get it right, you'll lose some time every single straightaway. Very peaky. I think it's 350 horse.
I think it's one of those engines that actually doesn't like revving out all the way either. So if you shift 50 RPM before where the red line cutoff is, you're not actually getting the most out of it. But on the other hand, you also can't short shift it at every single opportunity. There is a sweet spot somewhere in the middle. Maybe takes a little bit of practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go and run some quarter miles with it. It'll be happy anyway. Oh, Wire bumped a little funny through the middle for the left-hander there. Trask now with a gap to Giebler. Giebler running a little closer at the apex, but not enough. And they'll spread back out again. We'll see. Does Trask have a look up the inside this time? No, sorry, Robertson have a look? No, he doesn't. And we got a third battle forming up now between Orlando Harrell and Andy Kosick. So these two will be heading down into the hairpin, and the two of them have been glued together for the last few laps. Haven't had a chance to take a breath and take a look, but Kosick fighting for his life back here. And also maybe casting the odd glance ahead to Charles C. Brown ahead of them, which is for position as well.
Logan Sennhauser just behind them as well. This third, fourth, final step on the podium, Davis Trask and Ian Giebler.
Yeah, out front, they're just picking through the lap traffic. We got Jia Lu, who's got a lapped car and 6 seconds now between himself and Josh Soto. And so we'll keep glued to the battles behind. Ooh! Keep your focus. You need that, Soto.
Bit exciting for second place as he's got Scott Grinnell that he's about to put a lap on. Tim Wire's defending from Kyle Robertson down the back straight towards Sunset Bend. Wire seems to have it covered off, and Robertson almost stalling out of speed, going to look to do something different through this corner of 1,000 valid racing lines around the outside for Robertson. Loses him a little bit of time there, but if he can pinch Wire to a narrow exit, he can do something, but he can't. Wire has the space to make a good exit, and Robertson, the pressure on, but only for one corner.
Trask still holding off Ian Giebler as they head into turn 2. A little bit wider. It gets tough when it gets dark like this to spot all your apexes at a track that's this flat, and Trask definitely missed it on the way in, but we'll see if that's enough to allow Giebler a shot here. He's definitely got the better run through the corners. And onto the straights, he's got a little draft. Don't think that'll be enough to get him alongside, though, but it's all in the braking zone. He'll stay in line to the hairpin this time. How's it looking back there?
Wire and Robertson exchanging just a little bit of paint on their way into the braking zone here. Wire placing himself so defensively. Robertson trying to get clever with it, with the over-under, with the switchback, with some of the other moves, but it hasn't worked for him just yet. Hey, there's 1 minute left on the clock. Would you like another battle?
Oh, sign me up.
I think Colin Lounsbury is beginning to catch Logan Sennhauser. It's going to be an exciting fireworks finish to the season here at Sebring. This is Sennhauser under pressure from Lounsbury, who runs it in just a little bit deep there. Jia Lu's coming out of the final corner, and he's going to see the white flag for one more lap of Sebring on his way, looking for a victory. Now 7 seconds clear of Joshua Soto, who I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe needs to save a little bit of fuel at this point as well. One of the shortest pit stops of anyone for Joshua Soto, and then Robertson also had a short one.
Wires just gotten past. They're too wide, and they touch going into the Lamar curve. Oh, and that's left them both the wrong way. Robertson's facing the wrong way. Wire's facing the wrong way. I don't know which one's going to get going first.
Wyer's got going first, but Robertson's ahead and now into the right hand, and Wyer has a dive down the inside, and they're side by side again. After all of that, after the door banging contact sent them both into a spin, it's a drag race down towards Sunset Bend to start the final lap for these guys. Andy Kosick and Orlando Herald are catching Charles Brown. There's battles everywhere. The leader's on the final lap. These guys are coming around to start the final lap. That looks like Sennhauser trying to defend from Lounsbury. This is Wyer trying to defend from Robertson in the final corner. And now Robertson, he spins out and he doesn't hit the wall. He managed to keep it off the wall through some miracle of miracles. He's getting going. There's other cars at speed bearing down on him. The white flag waving. Jihao Lu leads. Davis Trask still ahead of Ian Giebler. Kyle Robertson gets going, but Charles Brown passes him. Here comes Andy Kosick, Orlando Herald freight train. Kosick gets past. Herald's going to get past as well.
Oh boy, it's spicy action back there in the pack, and Ian Giebler's looking up the inside for one more into the hairpin. Oh, he almost gets there and gets left a little room for Davis Trask, but it's not quite enough. Jumping back, what's going on?
It's all happening everywhere. Four-way fight for sixth place here with Charles Brown. Sennhauser and Lounsbury still battling each other. Jihao Lu most of the way around. His final victory lap. And for the step on the podium here, Giebler is within a car length of Davis Trask, making sure that the pressure will be on all the way till they cross the checkered flag.
Oh, and Trask, he's got to be feeling it a little bit. It's so hard to spot the corners, even with the reflectors out there this time. This time, Giebler stays off the curb, doesn't get it quite as tight. We'll see if that's enough, and this is where they crashed last time.
Jihao Lu, he took the pole. He led basically every lap. A stunning performance from Jihao Lu to win at Sebring in the Ford Mustang, 7 seconds ahead of Joshua Soto. But who's going to join them on the podium? It's still not decided here between Davis Trask and Ian Giebler. Giebler trying to take that wide entry. He knows it's sunset or bust. And Trask got just a little bit wide there as well. In the battle for third and fourth, it's not done. Kyle Robertson's shaken off the dust, and he's now up behind Andy Kosick, but into the final corner on the final lap for the podium. Is it Hail Mary? Is it do or die from Ian Giebler? It's not, because he's not close enough to Davis Trask. He needs a mistake from the Do Punt Rainbow Warrior on their way to the checkered flag. The fireworks go off. I thought I wasn't going to get them. Didn't pay for them. We got free fireworks, and the Davis Trask finishes on the podium ahead of Ian Giebler. Wyer's going to be in fifth, but Brown, Kosick, Robertson, Herald, they're battling all the way to the end. Don't get distracted by the fireworks, fellows. Kyle Robertson's down the inside of Andy Kosick, heading towards Sunset Bend, but he swaps to the outside.
Kosick slams the door and tries to hold off Robertson. Robertson, the faster driver so far through the race, but is he going to have enough on the last lap? It looks like those tires are gone. If he doesn't have it on the exit, he's going to have to hold off Orlando Herald, who closes up behind. We see lap cars getting out of the way. No, that's not a lap car. That's Charles Brown. They're pushed from behind. Robertson crosses the line, shaking back and forth.
Sennhauser and Lounsbury also in a drag race to the checkered flag to see out the season, and Logan Sennhauser holds on from a charging Colin Lounsbury. Amazing battles all through the field. Last drivers on the lead lap will be Alex Harrison and Will Nonamaker. We've also had Mark Kruger, Scott Grinnell, David Warden and JR Cabrera finish laps down here. Could you have a more thrilling finish to the season? We needed to look in 4 places at once on that final lap. It was mental.
I love that stuff. Like I said, it's the ChampCar iRacing series. It always delivers. It doesn't matter in the real world if you show up in a Class A car and a Class D car, and out here on the sim, it doesn't matter where you qualify. You're always going to have a good time.
So looking at the finishing results now, everyone's seen the checkered flag after 60 minutes of racing for round 12 of the ChampCar iRacing series at Sebring International Raceway. What a performance from Jihao Lu. There are races where Joshua Soto has looked untouchable, unstoppable, and in the face of immense pressure in that opening stint, Jihao Lu held his nerve, nailed the pit stop and the strategy. Maybe Joshua Soto got it a little bit wrong as he dropped away from Liu in the second stint of the race. A battle all the way to the line between Davis Trask and Ian Giebler, and Trask holds his nerve, holds his position. Tim Wyer rounds out the top 5. There was a flurry of activity in 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th between Brown, Kosick, Kyle Robertson Johnson losing a couple of spots there towards the end of the race as the pressure got too much for him. Logan Sennhauser holding on to that 10th place in a side-by-side drag race across the finish line with Colin Lounsbury. And we said Alex Harrison and Will Nonamaker, last drivers on the lead lap. Finishing this one was Mark Kruger, Scott Grinnell, David Warden, J.R. Cabrera. Bill Salen did finish 15 of 26 laps, so he gets counted as a finisher. Simon Foweather retired on the second lap when he got big damage missing his braking zone. We didn't see Wade Sheeter or Alan Wells. Jihao Lu, not content with the fireworks, he's leaving some of his own on the pit straight right now. All the fuel remaining going into some donuts on the pit straight.
I'm just catching my breath after that one. That was a hell of a show that was put on for us today. And looking around, trying to see if we can find any of our competitors for an interview here.
Yeah, we'll try to have a look. Who have we got from our podium? There's a few people scattered around the place. And there is Jihao Lu celebrating under lights. The smoke doesn't quite work at night for whatever reason in iRacing, even though it probably should. Okay, here we go. Race winner, Jihao Lu. Congratulations. Immense amount of pressure in the first half of the race, but you held your nerve. You lead every lap to a great win.
Yeah, it was a very intense first half of the race. Joshua was following very close, make me very sweaty. Good at the end. I'm hold on with a good pit strategy and keep my lead.
Tell us about that pit strategy, because we saw a lot of drivers taking only fuel. We saw a little bit, this side of the car goes up, that side of the car goes up. What did you do? And if you had your time again, would you do the same?
I think changing one set of tires actually faster, because it doesn't actually cost you additional time. So because of the bad tire degradation on this track, so I decided to take a left set of tires so I can have better traction.
Soto would have been maybe trying to slipstream you, save a bit of fuel to get you in that first pit stop, and he couldn't. So when you exited the pits back into the lead of the race still, you would have thought, okay, I can work with this from here.
Yeah, it was actually not. I was expecting Joshua to be in front of me after pit stop, but we end up with the same pit time. So yeah, a little bit weird, but yeah, but don't think fuel saving actually quite benefit on this track. But yeah, I don't know what happened to Joshua at that point. Yeah.
So how's your 2023 been, and what do the plans look like for racing in 2024?
My last and my second and my last race for this year will be the Sebring. So I will be driving a 93 yellow Civic Lemon Tea Party team as Sebring. So it will be my last race of the in real life ChampCar plan. Next year I will be racing the initial Appliance Daytona at April, and other than that I'm still planning. But stay tuned.
Yeah, sounds good, and hopefully you transfer a little bit of this to Sebring at the end of the year, and have yourself a happy new year, and best of luck in 2024.
Thank you so much. You guys, happy new year as well. And thanks for the commentary. Yeah, see you, Sebring, Michael.
There we go. Race winner Jihalu. What a dominant performance he had.
I found Josh Soto here. Second place finish for Josh tonight. A strong performance in the first half, but it looked like Zial found another gear in the second.
Oh yeah. Zia had an amazing pace the entire race. I made the mistake of not taking all 4 tires. I went with 2, and I kind of got down on pace on the second stint.
We were looking. Did you take right hand side tires?
Oh yeah. I took only the rights.
What was going through your mind at that point?
My initial plan was like to take rights. I was trying to see if Zihal was going to take tires, but unfortunately, iRacing doesn't show you if someone takes tires in other pit boxes. So, but yeah, I was just trying to get as much time in the pit stops. Try to not get as much time in the pit stop so I can try to get out in front or something like that. But yeah, made the gamble on the 2 rights.
There you go. Well, a solid end to the season anyway. Despite finishing in second, you were well clear of the field. Any plans for the rest of your racing year?
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get into the real ChampCar racing. Hopefully, you can try to get something done in December. Well, at the end of December. But yeah, definitely gonna try to get into some more real world racing. As far as ChampCar in the iRacing series, I might be back next year too as well.
Nice. Well, it was a pleasure to have you out as always, and thanks for putting on another great show.
Oh yeah, thank you. Also, I want to thank ChampCar for the series. I want to thank Tire Rack. I also want to thank HCBC. Devin Haynes, Devin Peters, and Michael Derby. You guys do a great, phenomenal job, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joshua Soto, the 2023 iRacing Series champion from ChampCar. Let me see if I can do that again. Joshua Soto, 2023 champion. Okay, they'll have to do. They'll have to do. Yeah, another look at the results there, and it's time to do the spinny wheel and find out who's getting 250 ChampCar credits from having done every single summer race of this year, rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here it is, the wheel, and let's look at the names first. Joshua Soto, Andrew Lanning, Davis Trask, Orlando Herald, Mark Kruger, Dakota Knapp, Tim Wire, Nick Love, Charles Kowalczyk, Alex Harrison, Alan Wells, Ben Rose, Ian Giebler, Colin Lounsbury, a great chunk of drivers who made sure they turned up every single round to race with us and put their name on the wheel. Michael Derby, let the wheel spin.
Ooh.
Tension is palpable, but it looks like it's going to Tim Wire, and that's great reward for both his participation, but also a great 5th place today as well. So Tim Wire, Team Salen, good on him, showing up to lots of our races along with his teammates this season.
Don't have to be good. You just got to be lucky. And, that's how racing goes sometime. It's always a pleasure to have Tim out. And he joins our last winner, Kyle Robertson, the winner of the rounds 1 to 4. And we'll see. Not sure we'll be able to pull it off on the stream tonight. Might have to do it another time, but we'll get our spin going for the final rounds participation draw, and we'll get that up either on the forum or at a later date for you folks.
Yeah, stay tuned for news on the wheel prize for the final draw of the year. But of course, our congratulations go to the race winner, Jihao Lu, the season-long championship winner, Joshua Soto, and our prize winner there, Tim Wire. That is all from 2023 in the ChampCar iRacing Series do make sure you stay tuned in, forum.champcar.org, or on Discord. We might run a couple of holiday season special one-off races, and it'll be the first place you hear about any news of ChampCar iRacing Series in 2024. It has been our immense pleasure to bring you live coverage of every round this season. Myself, David Haynes, Devin Peters, Michael Derby. We wish you a happy new year.